Hello everyone, Rurikhan here with the very first edition of Khan's Gamecast Q&A, and it's going to not be the perfect first edition because unfortunately I am sick, as you can probably tell by my voice. So forgive me if I'm not going to be, doing the crazy stuff, screaming and bobbing my head like a maniac, and it's gonna have to be a little bit more of a relaxed show this time around because I did get sick, but it's like I don't want to stop addressing you guys, the comments that you guys make on the website. I want to keep that rolling, and if I let it drag on throughout the duration of my sickness, eventually I'll have to make like a 3-hour show down the road. So yeah, I thought I'd just try and truck on through. I mean, I guess my voice sounds sometimes even better when I'm sick, but yeah, it's definitely different, and it's obviously added strain onto my throat, so I can't push it too much. But anyways, let's get all that bullshit out of the way, and let's get on to the show. So for starters, for those of you who are watching this for the very first time, as you guys are aware, I do a show where I read people's comments on the show, and I answer people's questions and all that kind of stuff. For those of you who do not know, in order to get a chance of being featured in the comments of this particular show, you have to do those comments on Rurikhan.com. So now you know. Like I said, I'm sorry, I'm sick and I'm under the effect of medication, okay? So don't push me too much. Anyways, now you guys are, some of you might also be wondering, what the hell do you mean, Khan's Gamecast? Isn't this the Rurikhan show? Well, yeah, but I think that is like the Rurikhan show sounds like such a selfish thing, and it doesn't really explain what the show is about. So from now on, I'm going to be renaming it to the Khan's Gamecast, and it's going to have two sections, obviously, like the previous Rurikhan show. It's going to have the Khan's Gamecast, where I will speak about updates and what I consider to be important in the gaming world. And it's going to have another section which is going to be Khan's Gamecast Q&A, which is the one that you're watching right now, where I will go through your comments and give you answers and all that kinds of good stuff. So yeah, just kind of announcing it here. I probably already announced it in the other video, which usually comes first, which is now going to be called Khan's Gamecast. And I'm just rambling on and on and on and on and on. And you guys are tired of hearing me rambling. And I'm also like, I've just readjusted my microphone like 5 times since I started the show. But let's get this show on the road, shall we? So today in the comments, we have the very first comment by Broby, and Broby has this to say. Sup, Big K. I was skeptical of the series at first. Oh, this was posted on my Kingdoms of Amalur series. I was skeptical of the series at first, but now that I've seen a few, they're quite enjoyable. I think it's smart to limit some of the more bland RPG elements like inventory management to when you're not recording. More emphasis on the action is the way to go. As to why this Let's Play isn't taking off, I can only assume it is because Kingdoms of Amalur isn't a AAA titles like Dark Souls was. This game looks good, but not good enough to get people excited about it. Keep up the awesome work. Yo, Gabba Gabba. Well, thank you very much for your comment. Yes, I have been editing the Kingdoms of Amalur series, and you haven't even seen the most edited ones because the last couple of episodes I've edited them even more than the normal. I've been increasing the editing on the Kingdoms of Amalur to kind of take away some of the boring stuff, because that was one of the major complaints you guys had about that series, is that it had a lot of boring stuff. And I mean, I'm slowly trying to take those elements away without taking away story or anything like that. So I hope you guys keep checking back from time to time to see if eventually I will reach a format which everyone can enjoy. Thank you very much for your comment, Broby. Next up, we have a comment by Slybot, and let me just warn you guys, there's a lot of comments by Slybot on this Q&A, because I noticed as I was picking out the comments, and he posted I'm sorry, medication, and Slybot said, this was in a Dark Souls video, the last Dark Souls video on New Game Plus, and he posted, wait just a minute, you forgot to do the Dark Sun Gwendolyn boss battle. Ah, well, there's always New Game Plus Plus, right? And what I got to say to that is, did I forget? You guys, I mean, it's definitely not in video yet. This does not mean that I have forgotten it. Just keep reminding yourselves of the fact that in between episode 28 and 29, there were a couple of changes. As in episode 28, when it was over, I was in human form and I had my full paladin set. Episode 29, as it starts, I'm hollowed and I have Gwen's crown. Now, why would that happen? Did I forget to do Gwendolyn? I don't know. But yeah, there's still something that may come out of that. We still don't know. We're trying to work on that. So just let's keep that under that abstract sense that the Dark Souls lore gives us. Okay. Next up, another comment by Slybot, and he is talking about Malicious in the Royal Battle Escort episode, and he has this to say. This is turning out to be a pretty entertaining game to watch. Keep it up. I think this type of series a really refreshing break to the other games that are being covered. That was the whole intention behind Malicious. It was supposed to be something to kind of break out of the norm, and you guys were complaining about the Kingdoms of Amalur not having that much action. Well, I have to say that Malicious is the exact opposite. It is non-stop action. As a matter of fact, I don't think that my Malicious commentary is the best, because I don't do commentary as much as just react to what's happening and try to say something about it. But I'm actually considering that I might do a little bit more detailed Malicious cover in the future. You know, kind of maybe boss guides or something along those lines. Because now that I know a lot of the fights, it becomes a lot easier for me to tell you, okay, so when this boss does this, you're supposed to do that. I mean, I could do that if there's interest. I'm not sure if I will or not. Thank you very much for your comments, Slybot. Next up, we have a comment from Knight. And Knight has this to say about Kingdoms of Amalur. Yo, Ruri, just wanted to thank you for bringing Dragon's Dogma. Oh, it's actually about Dragon's Dogma, but it was posted in the Kingdoms of Amalur video, so that's why I said that. Just wanted to thank you for bringing Dragon's Dogma to my attention. I literally had never heard of it before you brought it up in one of your other shows. Reason I'm really looking forward to it is because it looks like a really good mix between Skyrim and Kingdoms of Amalur. And I have another hypothetical project for you, New Game Plus 3. Yes, if you haven't noticed, I'm a New Game Plus fanboy and damn proud of it. Anyways, Ruri, keep up the great work and keep the vids coming. Bro fist to the camera right there. And thank you very much for your comment, Knight. I'm glad that I'm bringing Dragon's Dogma to your attention. And yeah, I'm always happy when I bring a new game into someone's gaming career, so to speak, because it's, I don't know, it just gives me that good feeling that it's like, okay, this is a good game. It might get overlooked, and I want to introduce this to people. So I like introducing new games to people. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Knight. Next up, we have a comment from my boy, Thunder Boots. Thunder Boots has this to say. He posted up a link in my latest Rurikhan show and said, here's the release date. It was about Diablo 3, obviously, because Blizzard did troll me about Diablo 3, because I was, the day before the Diablo 3 thing was announced, I made a Rurikhan show where I said, Diablo 3 ain't never getting announced. And Blizzard the next day just goes up and bam, in your face. Here's the release date, Rurikhan. Now shut the hell up. And I was just like, really? So Blizzard was basically watching the Rurikhan show, and when I said that, they were like, I'm going to slap this Portuguese bastard with a release date right friggin' now. And they did it. So anyways, yeah. And then he says, I'm still undecided if I should get Diablo 3 or not. If I do buy it, then there's the question if I should get the annual pass or just buy Diablo 3. I've played quite a bit of Blizzard games since Warcraft 2, 1995, up to World of Warcraft and StarCraft 2 until canceling my World of Warcraft subscription some months ago. I have to agree with Rui that it's easy to see how Blizzard's focus has gone from quality to making money. Even just in the lifespan of World of Warcraft, you can see the difference from Vanilla, the Burning Crusade, to Cataclysm. Somehow I have very little expectations of Mists of Pandaria. I'm probably going to give Mists of Pandaria a shot. Even if I do decide to buy Diablo 3, I'm still very skeptical if annual pass is worth it. but Guild Wars 2 and Mass Effect 3 should be pretty solid. Well, I don't know if the annual pass is worth it or not. For me, it's definitely not worth it because I'll be honest, I have no intention of playing World of Warcraft again. So yeah, I actually looked at the annual pass because I was considering purchasing the annual pass for my girlfriend because I know that she wants to play World of Warcraft, even though for some reason she doesn't want to admit it. Like I've said more than once to everyone, and I tell her too, if you are having fun with a game, don't let the fact that someone else is no longer having fun with that game stop you from having your enjoyment. And I say this to everyone. Like, for instance, you might see me sometimes badmouth a little bit World of Warcraft, badmouth Diablo 3, whatever, badmouth whatever game I happen to badmouth, okay? You might see me do this, but here's the thing. If you enjoy playing a game, okay, it's up to you to decide if you want to play that game or not. You should not base yourself upon someone else's opinion. Sure, watch someone else's opinion, see what they have to say, but take your own conclusions. Don't ever take what someone else says for granted. Like, for instance, sometimes you will see reviews in certain websites and whatnot, and they will tell you, oh my God, this game is horrible, this game is terrible, and you should never play this thing. And you might just find that that particular game you actually enjoyed quite a bit. And I mean, I just have to say, I mean, every single review of or anything that anyone does of a video game, it's all someone's opinion. You shouldn't base your own opinion out of someone's opinion. You should watch it, surely, but you should draw your own conclusions. Like, for instance, someone's feature that they clearly hate can be a feature that everyone else really enjoys. Like, for instance, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, probably not my viewers though, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who hate the fact that Dark Souls is really, really hard. I remember once being in the Prepare to Die forums, and there was some guy there, why'd you have to make the game so hard? And it's like, for him, it's a really bad feature. For me, I love it. Same thing, like, let's say, for instance, with Malicious, like when I died in the 4th battle or whatever, some people might be like, I don't understand, why does the game have to be so hard? For me, it was like, yes, the game killed me. It gives me a reason to go back and be better at it. You see? So different features for different people. It's all about what you like or you don't like. So it's like Thunderboots. If you're planning on playing more World of Warcraft, get the annual pass. I mean, it all depends on how long you're planning on playing World of Warcraft. Like you say, oh, I want to give Mists of Pandaria a chance for 2 months. Then the annual pass is not worth it. But if you're like, I want to give Mists of Pandaria a chance for like 6 months, then it could be worth it. So I don't know. In the end of the day, it's up to the players themselves. But you should definitely try out Diablo 3, regardless. Like, I know that I've badmouthed Diablo 3 a lot, and I even said that probably I wouldn't buy it. I mean, I might have been exaggerating a little bit, but I mean, I think that Diablo 3 is still worth trying out. I'm just not sure if I want to get myself too excited about it, but we'll see about that. Thanks for your comment, Thunderboots. Next up, we have a comment by Paul Desmond. Paul Desmond, who is the guy who made that music metal project that went into three recent videos I've made, actually, which was the that trailer that I did for Kingdoms of Amalur and the farming music on 2 Dark Souls videos. You guys might have heard it. It's like this really heavy metal beat, and it's really cool. And he has this to say, ha 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 ha, I love angry rants with, excuse me. It's just my throat is not very good, like I said. Paul Desmond says, ah ha ha ha, I love angry rants. With all the massive video files you keep uploading, you're probably the reason for Portugal's internet crashes, but you can't compromise quality. He was talking in one of the Rurikhan shows. I think it was the latest one. Yeah, it was the latest Rurikhan show. And the reason for Portugal's internet crashes is definitely not me. The reason for Portugal's internet crashes is because Portugal has a crappy service. And I know that you're just kidding, but I just wanted to emphasize on the fact that Portugal's services are a joke. I mean, I was talking with this about someone else in Portugal who is also trying to make a living out of making videos and doing some stuff online, and is like, both of us agree, Portugal's services are a joke. Our electricity is a joke. Our internet is a joke. And the prices, I mean, the relationship between price and quality in Portugal services, that is not even a joke. That is just a plain insult. Okay? The other day, I had to fill out my car's gas tank. You guys know how much I paid for the gas in my car? $150. I like to see how many of you go up to the gas pump and like it's like, yeah, sure, fill me up, and it's like, oh yeah, here it is, $150. I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of you. Luckily enough, I don't really go out much, so therefore I don't really have to fuel my car often, but it definitely hurts when I have to. So yeah, thank you very much for your comment, Paul Desmond. Next up, we have a comment by El Phoenix, and he is Brazilian, so he typed a couple of stuff in Portuguese. But I'm just going to read the English parts. The Portuguese parts are just personal for me, so it doesn't really matter. But here's what he has to say. It was in the Rurikhan show for the community comment section. By the way, El Phoenix, I have to say, nice name because I love phoenixes. So yeah. He says, anyway, great new format, waiting for Demon Souls videos, and I had a question. I was one of the guys who were against you pairing up with TGN. Now, you don't talk so much about it, so what's up with this? I mean, I don't talk so much about it because, I mean, what I do for TGN, I mean, I actually talk quite a lot about what I do for TGN, how I'm currently doing some stuff with TGN's Portugal branch, and I constantly do other stuff with TGN. It's just, there's not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? You want me to tell you the inner workings of TGN? I mean, it's not like I'm at liberty to discuss it because, I mean, there's a lot of private stuff going on inside of TGN that I can't just, I mean, it's not like you don't go up to Blizzard and say, oh, just tell me stuff about what you're working on right now. Tell me stuff about Project Titan. Blizzard's going to tell you, no. It's kind of the same thing. I mean, I can't just tell everyone what I'm doing right now with TGN or whatever. I mean, some stuff is private, but obviously I'm working with TGN. Next up, we have a comment by Joel Awesome, and Joel Awesome has this to say. Great video, Rurikhan. This was in the last Rurikhan show community comments. Great video, Ruri. I don't know of any other gaming commentators that cater to their fans so much as you do. Well, thank you very much. Looking forward to your Demon Souls and God of War series. I'm also starting up my first Demon Souls playthrough as we speak. Obligatory question. Despite the bullshit EA are pulling with their games, are you still picking up Mass Effect 3? Peace, bro, to the face. To the face. Actually, if you guys saw the previous show, you guys probably already know, but actually, Paul Desmond donated Mass Effect 3 to me, which was really kind of him because I was going to have to wait until Mass Effect 3 would drop price or whatever because of all the games that I'm already going to buy, like Diablo 3, Guild Wars 2, and Dragon's Dogma. So there's a lot of games that I'm already going to buy, so I was going to wait until Mass Effect 3 would drop price. But Paul Desmond came through and he actually went to hell and back. That's not an exaggeration to get a Mass Effect 3 copy in my hands, and that was really awesome. Really appreciate that, Paul Desmond. And yeah, so yeah, I do have Mass Effect 3. Joel Awesome, thanks to Paul Desmond. And thank you for your comment. But anyway, just about the question though, I would still pick up Mass Effect 3. The only reason I was waiting for the price drop is because I really couldn't afford it. Next up, we have a comment by Mark Age, and he has this to say. Bashiok definitely set off a firestorm with his total stupidity in posting that idiotic rant about Diablo 3, but really I'm definitely not one who will be buying Diablo 3. Blizzard have walked away from their consumers big time, and it's pretty awful to be left in the hands of this menagerie of twits running its development. Since you've uploaded the video, they've announced May 15th a date with the World of Warcraft yearly subscription giving away a free Diablo download ending on May 1st. Things have fallen off over the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm starting to not have confidence that Titan, he's talking about Project Titan, will have enough to stem the decline. But stranger things have happened in the industry. Heck, even EverQuest is going free to play, for fuck's sake. Keep up the good work, and Guild Wars 2 is going to be epic. So yeah, definitely Guild Wars 2 is going to be epic. I'm sorry about the fact that you're not going to buy Diablo 3, but I really do believe that people should really review if they want to buy Diablo 3 or not. Hopefully my videos will help with that when they come. I mean, I would make more videos if Blizzard would have just given me a beta, and maybe people would get a better idea if they want to play Diablo 3 or not, because I'm hardcore Diablo 2 player, and I could probably tell people a good set of opinions about whether they should be buying Diablo 3 or not. But obviously Blizzard doesn't really want to give me a chance. They want to give a chance to, you know, IGN and all those other guys. So do whatever you want to do, Blizzard. It's up to you. And yeah, Guild Wars 2 is definitely going to be epic. I wish Guild Wars 2 would give me a beta too. Bastards. Nobody wants to give Rurikhan betas. And just because of that, I'm going to shout out to the amazing team of Wing Commander Saga, because they did give me access to the beta of their game, and it was awesome. Loved it. So yeah, thank you very much for your comment, Mark H. I'm also not sure if Titan is going to be the Blizzard savior, so to speak. So we'll have to see about that. Anyways, next up we have a comment by Red Van Dam, and he has this to say. I'd love to see some Dragon's Dogma hype. I am sure you could make more informative video based on pure speculation than most of the lazy gaming websites who just churn out crap articles and videos to make a buck. With Dragon's Dogma and Diablo 3 coming out a week apart, I think a lot of cash-strapped folks are going to have a hard time choosing just one. Diablo 3 has a ton of name recognition, and that will sell millions of copies alone. If Dragon's Dogma is the superior game, it will take a lot of hype and marketing to get the message across and get people to hold on to their money for another week. Looking forward to Demon Souls. Keep it up. Much respect, and brofist. Brofist right there. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to do a Dragon's Dogma video. It's just been really hard, especially now that I'm sick. Luckily, I still have a lot of videos, like with Demon Souls. I have some Dark Souls, and I have Kingdoms of Amalur still going up. So hopefully I will get better by the time that ends, and I will be able to dedicate some time to Dragon's Dogma before it comes out. The other thing, though, is they've announced a demo. So I was kind of also wanting to wait on the demo so that I could report on that after I actually have some hands-on time with the game and, you know, actually get a better idea. Because here's the thing about Dragon's Dogma. It looks great. The features they promise are great, apart from the lack of co-op multiplayer, which was a really, really, really big deal for me. I was really disappointed with the fact that you couldn't do co-op multiplayer. But apart from that, the game is looking pretty solid, but it's like, it's all hearsay. That's the problem, you know. It's just like Guild Wars 2. All of the stuff that I've seen so far, it's all hearsay. It's all stuff that they say they're going to do. I haven't had a chance to get my hands on it, which is why whenever I talk about Guild Wars 2, I always say if they deliver on what they're promising, it's going to be the best MMO ever. And I have to say that it's going to be kind of the same thing about Dragon's Dogma. If they deliver on the stuff that they're promising, it's going to be a great game. It's not going to be awesome, because in order to be awesome, it would have to include co-op multiplayer. I know that a lot of people debate on this. Oh, I don't think co-op multiplayer is necessary. Other people will be, I think co-op multiplayer was essential. I'm kind of in the middle, because it's like, I don't think that it's going to be essential for the series to have success, but I think it would be a really good step in the right direction to have co-op multiplayer in that series. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Dragon's Dogma. And regarding if people are going to be picking between Dragon's Dogma and Diablo 3, I mean, we have to realize something. We're talking about two different games here, okay? Diablo 3 is your classic top-down view RPG. Dragon's Dogma is your classic third-person action RPG. I mean, you know, it's two different games. Let's not confuse things. And Diablo 3 are going to be smacking away waves and waves of mobs all over the place, and you're going to have a boss fight at the end of each level or whatever. You know, I'm just following up on basic Diablo 2. You're going to have some PvP, you're going to have some cooperative fun with your friends, you're going to follow down the Diablo storyline, all that stuff. Dragon's Dogma is going to be more about fighting off huge bosses and picking up the tactics and finding out the boss's weak spots, attack there, learn how to better use your character. It's going to be two different games. They're both RPGs, but they are very, very different. I mean, just look at it like this. You could play Diablo 3 just using your mouse, okay? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Note this. I'm not saying that is a bad thing. You could play Diablo 3 just by using your mouse. Whereas Dragon's Dogma is going to be a lot more about reflexes and skill-based and whatnot. And again, don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying Diablo 3 is not going to require skill. I'm just saying it's two different games, okay? That's all I'm saying. Hopefully, I'll make a couple of videos that will help you guys decide between Dragon's Dogma and Diablo 3. I mean, that's actually a good thing. We should make like a Dragon's Dogma versus Diablo 3 type of thing. So I'll try to work on something like that. Thank you very much for your comment, Red Van Dam. And I'm sorry if it seems like my voice is going, but it is. So I really apologize if the audio is not as good as usual, or if I don't seem as pumped as I usually am, because I keep apologizing for the drugs. I'm going to stop apologizing. Screw you guys. Anyways, next comment is by E-Man. E-Man6 has this to say. Yeah, those spiders are a little annoying with that venom to the face. Can't wait till you fight harder enemies that don't stagger. Loving all the episodes, my bro. By the way, you, my friend, are my favorite game commentator, and I enjoy watching all of your videos. You are the best, bro. P.S. I remember you said in your last Rurikhan show that you will answer random questions that are within reason. So here goes. Could you tell me your opinion about The Witcher 2? I watched you play it on PC on TGN, but I'd like your input on how you think it would be for the 360 in April, and if it's a good RPG, because I absolutely love RPGs. They're my favorite type of game. Thanks, bro. Brofist. Brofist to the camera right there. Well, here's the thing. I loved The Witcher 2. It's a really great game. My main issue with The Witcher 2 is like, I got into this strategy because, I mean, obviously, if you are a usual RPG player, you already know not to spread your points all over the trees or whatever. So you will usually find a couple of abilities that you really, really like, and you will put points in those abilities. In the case of The Witcher 2, I knew that I wanted to make a melee character, so I remember putting a lot of stuff into the melee tree. And then I noticed that you get this blue shield on your character. So I was like, yeah, I like this blue shield, and it kind of plays nicely with the fact that I like being melee, because it was like a thorns shield. So like enemies would hit me and take damage back. So I put lots of points into melee, and then I put lots of points into improving that particular section of the magic tree, which was that blue shield. And what happened was my character became ridiculously overpowered. I believe I was playing in the hardest difficulty of all, and my character was just immortal. Like, I got to the last fight, and I mean, the last fight can be one of two things. I really don't want to spoil it, but let's just say that I completely romped the final dude. Like, I didn't even care. I was like, whoop, pop my shield, smack your face around like the little bitch you are, pop a couple potions, boom, done. Like, it wasn't even a big challenge. And that was kind of a little bit of a letdown for me, because story-wise, amazing. The fact that your decisions can completely affect the way the game plays out, also amazing. Really, really nice. I also liked the fact that the developers, they started the game out with DRM, and they noticed that the DRM was affecting the consumers who had actually bought the product. They removed the DRM, and since then they've actually vowed never to again use DRM. And for those of you who do not know what DRM is, it is Digital Rights Management Systems. And what that kind of stuff does is it usually it's to prevent piracy, but it doesn't really matter, because the stuff gets cracked anyways. But basically, they are these really intrusive digital rights management systems that they just like almost work like spyware in a matter of speaking, because they will send informations back to the developers of the game, and it will usually just make the game go slower, and it's just bad all around. DRM is not needed. DRM needs to go away, because the only thing that DRM really affects is the consumers that actually pay for the product, which is retarded. I mean, it's just retarded that we're the ones affected because of the pirates cracking the game. So whatever. That might have not made a lot of sense. I'm under medication, so whatever. But Witcher 2, great game. If I believe that it's going to be good for the 360 in April, yes, because I have faith in that developer, because the game looked really, really good on the PC. The one thing that I don't have faith in that equation is the fact that it's on an Xbox. So for that part, I can't account. But I definitely have faith in both the developer and the game. I just don't have faith in that particular platform. So yeah, that's all the advice I can really give you, E-Man6. Thank you very much for your comment. Oh yeah, next up, we had a comment that I actually wanted to do a special voice for, but unfortunately due to the condition, I can't do it. But we have a comment by supposedly Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan has this to say. Well, you know something, King Khan? Everywhere I go, all the little Hulkamaniacs ask me, is Rurikhan really done playing Dark Souls? As Rurikhan tapped out to Dark Souls? And you know what I tell them, brother? Who the fuck is Rurikhan? They tell me Dark Souls is a video game and Rurikhan plays them for all the little cons around the world. Well, brother, after they've woken up, I've laid a smackdown on their little candy asses that when the Hulkster wants to play a game, he gives a prostitute a leg drop off the ropes, brother, because that's the kind of games the Hulkster plays. Okay. Now, I don't know what kinds of games you're playing, King Kong, but I am coming for you, brother. No one messes with the Hulkster, and no one cuts the Hulkster's grass. The little Hulkamaniacs need to be drinking their milk, eating their vitamins, and saying their prayers, not sitting around watching some jabroni play Nintendo. It's not even on Nintendo, dude. So this is it, King Khan. You better start running. You better find a hole in the ground and bury yourself, because I am coming. What you gonna do, King Kong? What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild over you? Well, in all honesty, Hulk Hogan, I'd like to see you come for me, because first, you'd have to find my ass in Portugal. And after you find my ass in Portugal, by the time you get here, you're probably gonna get sick off some weird Portuguese disease, and after that you're going to be hit by Lisbon's pollution, which is ridiculously out of control at this point. And after that, if you actually cross one of our bridges, maybe the bridge will fall down because all of our stuff is crap. And when you actually get to where I live, hell, maybe the building will fall down on top of you. I'm sorry, there's just so many variables. And if you get to my house, I'm sick. I'll cough on you and you will die. So that's what you get, Hulk Hogan. But I challenge you. Get your ass down to Portugal, because I'm too broke to go to America. Get your ass down to Portugal. I'll have a camera ready, and we'll see who smacks down who, my friend. That's all I gotta say. Although, in all honesty, I highly doubt that's Hulk Hogan. But just in case it is him, this is how I handle stuff, Hulk Hogan. You come to me. Come at me, bro. Think I give a crap? I'll bust a friggin' chair in your face. That's right. Bust you open, son. Just after I get better. Next up, we have, and thank you very much for your comment, Hulk Hogan. Next up, we have a comment by Darmas, and Darmas has this to say. Damn, why did it post already? I don't know why he said that, but then he says, I noticed that you did some more editing than in previous Kingdoms of Amalur videos. Or not. I like that. Keep up the good work. Yes, like I've mentioned previously, I am doing more editing on the Kingdoms of Amalur videos, and I would appreciate it if people would check it out just to make sure that hopefully I'm going in the right direction and improving on this series, that eventually people who did not enjoy it, maybe they'll come to enjoy it now. So yeah, I am doing more editing on the Kingdoms of Amalur videos. Thank you very much for your comment, Darmas. Next up, we have a comment by Zero. And Zero has this to say. I've got a question. What's the story behind the hat? I've only been subbed for a few months now, so I was wondering what was up with the awesome hat. So this is actually a really funny question, because no one really asked me what's up with that hat. What happened was, in one video, I used the hat, and then I stopped using it, and people were like, oh my god, we need the epic Dark Souls hat. It's basically what it's been called. It was called the Epic Dark Souls hat, and I just started using it more often. But the reason behind the hat is, if you guys remember, not so long ago, my hair was really, really long. I've actually trimmed it since then. Not sure if you guys can tell by the camera angle or whatever. It doesn't matter. But my hair was really, really long. So it's hard to keep it decent for the camera, because my hair gets all curly and all messed up, all kinds of bullshit. So I was thinking, I was talking to my father and I was saying, I could really use like a hat so that I could just wear the hat whenever I'm on camera and I don't have to worry about my hair looking all messed up and me looking like a homeless person. And my father was like, well, I've got this and this. He showed me all kinds of caps he had around the house. And then he showed me this. And I was like, oh man, this is what I'm talking about right here. This friggin' Australian hat is badass. So I used it just to test it out. And basically it sticked. And ever since then, I've never took it off for the camera. So, I mean, I just think it's a cool hat. So I hope you guys enjoy it as well. And that's the story of the hat. Thank you very much for your comment, 0. Next up, we have a comment from Dist. And Dist, with a Y, has this to say. Hey, Ruri, big fan of Dark Souls and a big fan of your series on Dark Souls. Have you played Eternal Darkness from GameCube? The mystery of that game reminds me a lot of Dark Souls. No. And you guys might be surprised by what I'm about to say, but basically my owned consoles history goes like this. I had a Sega Master System. Then I had what was called in Europe the Sega Mega Drive, but I believe in America it was called the Sega Genesis. I had one of those. And after that, my parents basically told me consoles are useless. You need to have a computer so that you can work. So I just played games on the computer instead. And I had to do PC gaming for all that time until I was like old enough to buy my own console. And then I bought a PlayStation 3. So basically I skipped from the Mega Drive to the PlayStation 3. And I did not touch any of the Nintendo 64s or any of that stuff. So yeah. No, I never played that. And a lot of you guys are going to go like, what? You have no gaming culture then. How can you not have played a Nintendo 64, the PlayStation 1, the PlayStation 2? And all I got to say to that is, yeah, I didn't. Sue me. Oh, my God. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your comment. Next up, we have another comment from Slybot. Slybot has this to say. Regarding your thoughts on Diablo 3, what did you think was wrong with it? I watched some of your coverage of the beta, and it seemed fine to me, or am I just missing something? Well, the coverage of the beta was more me just playing around the game and telling you guys about the classes and whatnot, more giving out information than actually saying if the game was good or not. And the main issues that I have with the game, I mean, for starters, there's the simple fact that there's not as much customizability as you had in Diablo 2. I believe I've mentioned this before, but in Diablo 2, I had like 10 different barbarians, okay? And in Diablo 3, you're not going to be able to have 10 different barbarians. I mean, at least not from what I've seen in the beta, unless they've changed a whole lot of stuff. But what it seems to me is they're going to be like maybe 2, 3 types of barbarians, and everybody's going to be pretty much the same. And that's a big problem to me because, I mean, one of the things that I enjoyed about Diablo 2 is playing different characters, making different builds, you know, specializing on different things. Like you had the Javazon, you had the Boazon, you had the Burazon, you had all these crazy builds. You even had the sorceresses that could block by investing into dexterity, or was it agility? I don't remember the name, but I think it was dexterity. And you had all this customizability. It was ridiculous the types of builds that you could do with the systems that Diablo 2 had in place. Diablo 3 does not seem to have 1/10 of that depth. On top of that, the UI was pretty silly because of the way it worked. I think they've changed that since then, but basically it limited the amount of skills you could use at one time, but then it would let you switch those skills around. So basically you could use all the skills all the time, but the user interface would not be intuitive to use. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. Then there's the fact that in Diablo 2, you used to be able to play with 8 players, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're downgrading now. We used to be able to play with 8 players, now you can only play with 4. And it's just, there's just so much stuff that comes out of it. And I haven't even mentioned one of the major points, which is the real money auction house, which I just find completely ridiculous. And I know that a lot of players are going around like, oh my God, I'm going to be able to make money in Diablo 3. And what I got to say to that is, yeah, good job. You're going to be making money in a game that's going to be pay to win. So whatever, doesn't matter. And not to mention that it's also going to be, obviously, despite what Blizzard says, they're going to put items in there. Are you kidding me? If it comes between Blizzard making a profit and Blizzard not making a profit, come on. We've all seen the sparkle ponies and all this stuff. They're going to put items in there. They're going to sell gold. They're going to sell you items in the game. They're just not going to tell you it's Blizzard. It's some random player. And it's just going to happen. It's just a corrupt system to have in Diablo 3. And I realize that a lot of players are excited with the perspective of making money on Diablo 3. And that's your prerogative. But me personally, I hate that. I think it's a joke. It's a really bad joke. But yeah, that's some of the stuff that's wrong with it. If you just want to experience the Diablo 3 story, you don't care about competitive play at all, and you just want to play the game with your friends or whatever, the game's fine. Nothing has changed. But if you really want to be competitive to the levels of competitiveness that I was when I was in Diablo 2, forget about it. It's no longer a balanced arena. Forget about it. It's a joke. It's a complete and utter joke. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you very much for your comments, Slybot. Next up, we have a comment from Vyards. And Vyards has this to say. Oh yeah, he posted on a Rift thing that I did a long time ago. And he says, hi, I just started playing this game. It's actually really fun, but what server are you playing on? But it's kind of hard to not play World of Warcraft. I'm so addicted, I wish I wasn't, because Rift is better. The raids is a lot of fun than the dungeons. So please keep going with Rift. You're the best. Love your videos. Well, here's the problem. I've stopped playing Rift quite a few months ago. I just played for a little while because I was doing the Rift show in TGN, and basically I was required to play Rift so that I would know what was going on Rift and how the game worked and all that stuff. But I never really got that into Rift because it was just a whole lot like World of Warcraft. It was like an improved version of World of Warcraft. So I just got tired of it really fast and stopped playing. So sorry, Vyards, I'm no longer playing Rift. Sorry about that. Next up, we have a comment from Rad Van Dam, and he has this to say. 3 questions. What is your fascination or fixation with dwarves? I think I heard you say it's something to do with Slayers from Warhammer, but is that really where it all started? 2. How did you decide on the large club as your main weapon? The great club is easier to attain and has more damage, still A scaling, and the great axe, which is more dwarvenly in my opinion, and high damage in B scaling. I'm just curious, but I've never used any of those 3 weapons, so maybe the large club has a superior moveset. I don't know. It just seemed like an odd choice. 3. You seemed pretty adamant on not doing a 3rd Dark Souls playthrough because you didn't want to be pigeonholed as Dark Souls director. Why to change your heart? Is it simply just giving the people what they want? Still looking forward to some Demon Souls action. Demon Souls and Dark Souls doesn't get much better. Much respect, Brofist! Brofist right there, Rad Van Dam. And answering your question, I'm going to start with number 1. What is my fascination or fixation with dwarves? So, thing about dwarves is that if you really go through usual dwarven lore in most games, what happens is dwarves are the kinds of guys who are just frontal about stuff and confrontational, which is kind of the way I feel I am. I'm usually just straight up confrontational. I'm the kind of guy that will like get in your face and tell you stuff exactly the way it is. I don't go around doing or making up excuses for stuff that I've done in the past or whatever. It's like, if I've done something wrong, yeah, sure, I did something wrong. What? Now what? That's kind of the attitude that I take towards life. It's like I'm always staring problems in the face and I try solving stuff in the face. And I feel that that's kind of the way that dwarves work. The first time, I guess, that I felt more inclined to do dwarves was also kind of a little bit of a metagamer thing, which is I believe that if you did a dwarf fighter in Dungeons and Dragons, it was it had like an extra feat or something. I don't know. I remember that it was really cool being a dwarven fighter in Dungeons and Dragons. So that was the first time that I've started noticing, yeah, I actually really do like dwarves, and started reading about dwarven lore and all that stuff. And eventually I got to Warhammer as well. And I mean, just the lore of the Dwarven Slayers is just awesome. And I love Dwarven Slayers. But yeah, I mean, overall, it has to do with the Dwarven attitude. I mean, I think I've said this multiple times, but I'm going to say it again. If you guys just look back to the scene in Lord of the Ring, Fellowship of the Ring, where everyone's sitting around a table and the one ring is in the middle of this stone table, and everyone's just sitting around, yeah, we got to destroy it, we got to destroy it, we got to destroy it. And Gimli just gets up and says, oh, we got to destroy it. Okay, here's my axe. Smack. He smacks it, you know, because that's how dwarves do things. They just tackle things head on. He's like, why is everyone sitting here discussing, we got to destroy it? I'll grab my axe and smash it. Oh, wait, doesn't work. So whatever. At least I tried. But, you know, that's what gets me fascinated about dwarves. Now, how did I decide on the large club as my main weapon? See, that's a wrong assumption right there. I never said it was going to be my main weapon. It was going to be the weapon that I wanted to use until I get my main weapon. Nobody still knows which one is the main weapon for my dwarf. And I'm going to keep that a surprise. Regarding the whole damage and whatever, I mean, the thing is, the large club is just easier to get, and it also does poison, so it's a two things that it does. And I don't know why. I seem to remember looking at the wiki. I don't have all the stats. I'm not looking at all the stats for the weapons right now, but I just seem to remember that that club was better than the great club or whatever, the one that's down there behind the corpses of the, you know, behind the big guys that throw boulders. I know that there's a corpse there and there's a big mace there, and I seem to remember that either the stat scaling is better or it was because it had poison in it. I don't know. There was just something about that one that made me want to use that one until I actually get the weapon that I want. Now, which weapon I will want, you guys will just have to wait and see. So, yeah. And now your third question. You seem pretty adamant on not doing a third Dark Souls playthrough because you didn't want to be pigeonholed in Dark Souls director. Why change heart? In all honesty, I mean, I didn't even want it to make those videos. I just ended up making them because I was like, man, I want to make a dwarf. And the main reason for creating that character was actually to complete the platinum achievement. Excuse me. But since then, I've actually already completed the platinum achievement. So, I mean, if I wanted to stop that character, I could have just stopped it. But apparently a lot of people really enjoyed it. So I might just do it. But it's going to be done later on. But the reason why I did it is simply because I felt like playing Dark Souls, and I was just wondering, should I record it? Should I not record it? And I ended up recording it. And since I recorded it, I just decided I should upload it and see what you guys thought about it. But see the Khan's Gamecast normal edition to know about what I'm going to be doing with that playthrough and all the other playthroughs that I'm working on, okay? But yeah, I definitely still don't want to be pigeonholed into being a Dark Souls director, but I definitely take pride that that is one of my main projects because I love Dark Souls and Demon Souls. They're like my top games right now. Dark Souls and Demon Souls are my favorite, like at the top of best games ever for me right now is like Dark Souls and then Demon Souls right below it. So thank you very much for your comment, Red Van Dam. Next up, we have a comment from Andreas. And hopefully I said that right this time. So Andreas has this to say. Hey Ruri, not sure how to say this, but as much as I enjoyed your Dark Souls content, I'm not sure you're doing yourself a favor by doing another Dark Souls playthrough. You might scare people away that think Dark Souls content is getting old. You should really focus on Demon Souls or the other new projects you have planned. And if you have some time left, you should really just take some time off. Tell me about it. Now I'm sick and I'm doing a cast and you're talking to me about time off. Yeah, I know. Trust me, after the Wing Commander Saga project, I know what I'm talking about. I know how passionate one can get with such a project, but ultimately spending too much time on something will end up hurting your health. Case in point. Maybe just turn the new playthrough into cool montages, but if I were you, I wouldn't put so much time again into recording and cutting so on for yet another full Dark Souls playthrough. Just my 2 cents. Otherwise, keep it up, and thanks again for all your support for our project. You can count on us in the future if you need anything, and if we ever do another project together, you'll be the first to know and receive a beta key, of course. Greetings from Germany, Andreas. P.S. Your last try on pronouncing my name was very accurate already, but you are still pronouncing the R too well Portuguese. Andreas. You German people are weird. But anyways, Andreas, regarding the whole thing, I kind of already said why I did that playthrough, and that playthrough will eventually be complete. It's just not something that I'm putting my whole time into it. It just happened that I wanted to do something and record it, and that's the way it went. By the way, if you guys are listening to a cat in the background, it's because my girlfriend's brother wanted me to take care of his cat for a week, and the fucking thing's been here for a month. And here's the thing. I'm not an animal person, okay? I'm not going to say that I hate animals or that I hate cats or whatever, but I am not an animal person. And the problem with this particular cat is the fact that it doesn't get along with the already existing cat in this house. So if I let the cat loose, they're going to fight and they're going to hurt each other, and then I'm going to have to take them to the vet. So I have to keep the other cat in lockdown and have to let him out at specific times. But sometimes he just starts howling, and I even feel bad about it because I feel like I'm treating the thing badly. And it's not my intention, but I can't let it loose or the two cats will fight. And it's just like, the cat's been here for a month and there's nothing I can do about it. So if you guys are hearing the cat in the background, I'm just really sorry, but these shows take a long time to record and I can't afford to just, oh yeah, I'm going to stop recording because the cat decided it's time to reveal himself, whatever. So anyways, thank you very much for your comment, Andreas. And yeah, you are right. But like I said, I'm not focusing too much on this particular playthrough. It's just I did 5 episodes in a row and I've been slowly uploading them. That's all. And just because of Andreas, remember something, guys. If you still haven't checked out their project, Wing Commander Saga, go to wcsaga.com. It is a free space combat simulator. Go get that. It is awesome. Okay. So yeah, thank you very much for your comment, Andreas. And next up, we have a comment by Patrick Robinson. Hey, I was wondering, I have been a fan of your videos. I downloaded Fraps, don't know how to set it up. I'm trying to make a new channel and I'm only 10 years old, so I'm worried about criticism. Should I go for it? Okay. Here's the thing, Patrick Robinson. You should never just take someone's opinion on whether you should try to do it or not. But this is my experience. My experience is that a lot of people don't like watching videos when the commentator is really, really young. This is just something that I've noticed because we've had really, really young people post on TGN, and usually the kinds of comments that they get is like, who the hell is this kid? Why is this kid? Whatever. They just focus on the fact that the commentator is really, really young, and they don't even focus on the fact if the content has enough quality or not. So my advice to you is, if you're 10 years old, enjoy your life for now. Don't really do commentary right now. That is my advice, but don't let my advice be the deciding factor. Think for yourself. That is more important than any advice I can give you. So, but here it is. My advice right now, enjoy your life, go outside, play with your friends. Don't worry about video commenting with your age. This is my personal opinion. Think about it like when you're 16, 18, because your voice will hopefully be more developed. You will have went through puberty, all that kind of stuff. And then people will not focus so much on your age, and they will start to actually focus on what you're commenting. Because here's the thing. Something that I've noticed is that sometimes it's almost like, even if a younger commentator is better than someone else, a lot of people will just focus on the fact that he is younger, and it won't make a difference. This is the experience I've had with this industry. However, like I said, do not let my opinion be your decision making. I mean, you decide for yourself. Play around with Fraps, play around with whatever microphone you can find, do a video, whatever, play with it. I mean, but decide for yourself. My experience, I think you're going to get criticized pretty badly. But this is just my experience. I don't want to discourage you, but I think you should try doing this after you're 16 or something. This is my personal experience. If you want to do it as 10, don't let me be the one to tell you not to do it. Go ahead and do it. Try it out. See what happens. Just don't be too much concerned about what people are going to say, because I'm pretty sure I've seen a lot of people react badly to younger commentators. Just don't let yourself get down. Don't let the other people get you down. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you want to try it out, Patrick Robinson. It's really up to you. Thank you for your comment. Next up, we have Falchion233, and he had this to say. Now that I think about it, I think I should change my nickname. This part I don't understand. Why should you change your nickname? Sorry, I didn't take into consideration your time. This was because he was messaging me back and forth about, oh my God, you need to do No More Heroes 2. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to, but a lot of people didn't really show that much interest with No More Heroes 2. Then he says, I completely forgot about it, but nevertheless, I'm sure your God of War Let's Play is going to be awesome. Just because you're going to do them, seriously, you are my favorite game commentator. I hope you keep the good work. God bless you, Ruri Brofist. And honestly, Falchion, I don't know why you said you needed to change your nickname though. So, no. Thank you very much for your comment though. Next up, we have a comment from Bruth. And Bruth had this to say. Hey Rurikhan, just wanted to say 2 or 3 things. I really like your videos and appreciate your great work. And now you do a Demon Souls Let's Play. Awesome. These 2 Souls games belong to my favorite. What? These 2 Souls games belong to 2 of my favorite. To 2 of my absolute favorites. There's something wrong with the English in this sentence, and I can't get it right now. Medication. But basically saying that those are the two of his absolute favorites of all times. And I am looking forward to your Guild Wars 2 coverage too. Please don't waste too much time on Diablo 3. It won't be worth it, I predict. We'll see about that. By the way, you can enter the door to Meralda. This was in Demon Souls. In pure black or pure white world tendency. I guess you didn't have pure white in this video. It really looked like it though. I don't know what happened there. I guess you didn't have pure white in this video. And another hint, I've seen you circle clockwise around the enemies in Dark and Demon Souls. It's easier to avoid getting hit to land a backstab if you circle counterclockwise. This way you are moving on the side of the shield hand. Well, the thing is, sometimes it also involves the fact that there might be other enemies in there. I might just have more room on one side. I don't really do the same side over and over and over on purpose. It's usually has to do with the situation itself. I mean, because I can pretty much backstab going clockwise or counterclockwise. It's just whatever happens to happen. Next up, we have another comment by Zero. And thank you for your comment, Bruce. Next up, we have another comment by Zero, and he has this to say. I was just wondering, I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with the awesome video, but what was school like for you? You seem pretty well educated, so I was just wondering, what was it like? Well, the Portuguese education system is definitely not the best, but I did have some exceptional teachers in some times, and I also had a whole bunch of scumbags. There were definitely more scumbags than decent teachers, because what I've noticed with Portuguese education system is that a lot of people take the old saying, those who can't do teach, quite literally, in which they couldn't get the job they wanted, and then they just like, oh, I'm going to become a teacher. And I mean, honestly, for the longest time, I couldn't get a job as an IT. And I never once considered the chance, oh, well, since I can't find a job, I'm going to teach IT, because I'm not a good teacher. And I think that a lot of teachers in Portugal just need to realize that, as like, if you're not a good teacher, you should not be teaching, because you're basically molding the minds of the future of this country. And they will basically be broken. Their spirit will be broken because of poor teaching. And trust me, I had a lot of poor teaching, but I also had quite a couple of exceptional individuals. Like I even had one teacher once. I only saw him once. I've never again saw him my whole life. And I feel really sorry for that, because this one teacher, here's what he did. He grabbed the program and he said, okay, so basically this school wants me to teach you all of this outdated bullshit. And here's what we're going to do with that. I'm going to close this, I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to teach you something that's actually going to be useful for you. And he taught me HTML. And that is a skill that I use to this day. I use HTML. And he also taught us at that time how to Google information, how to do internet searches. He didn't straight up teach us HTML. What he said is, okay, I want you guys to find out how to do this, and here's how you're going to find out how to do this. So he didn't give us a fish. He taught us how to fish. And I thought that is definitely one of the most marking experiences I've had with teachers, is this guy that completely said, this government program is bullshit. I'm actually going to teach you stuff that you're going to be using throughout your life. And pretty much everything that he taught me, I use to this day. And it makes me a better professional because of it. And I think if a lot more teachers would think to what we could actually use. And I'm not saying that certain things like physics aren't important, because they are. They're important because they develop your they develop, I don't know how to say this word in English, damn it. But basically they develop the way your brain works. They develop your brain, and developing your brain will turn you into a more intelligent individual. It will basically teach you critical thinking. So physics and other kinds of things are important. Even if you're just learning, you know, a computer science based degree, physics are still important, just like algebra, just like all kinds of maths. All that stuff is important, not because you're going to be using it every day. Like I see a lot of times in 9gag and stuff like that, people saying, I'm still waiting for the day when I'm going to be using this special formula and blah, 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 blah. And what I have to say about that is that maybe you won't be using that formula, but it should, if the teacher did a good job, playing around with that formula should have developed your brain and prepared you for future problems. I know it did for me. Okay. So yeah, I had not the best experience in school. I mean, because I'm getting off topic here. I did not have the best experience in school, but I always tried to make the best of it. And I'm not going to say that school has been completely useless for me. I have a computer science degree, and I mean, obviously I don't use a lot of the stuff that I've learned in college and whatnot, especially because I completely shifted what I'm trying to do for a living into making videos and video game videos and all that stuff. But it did made me a much more intelligent individual. And I guess that is what you mean that I seem well educated, because basically what happens is, even if a lot of the stuff that you don't learn, if a lot of the stuff that you learn, you don't use it on your day-to-day basis, it will still get your brain functioning. And your brain functioning, it connects neurons, there's all this crazy shit in your head, and you become a more intelligent individual. And I guess that's what you mean by well-educated, like I was saying. I'm sorry. I completely went off topic here, but thank you very much for your comment, Zero. Hope the answer suffices. Next up, we have a comment by Darmas. Darmas has this to say. The only coverage of Dark Souls I watched were your videos, and I really like that you're doing Demon Souls. But let me say this. Dying on purpose or getting in situations where you are likely to die is not that entertaining. The thing that was great about your Dark Souls deaths was that you tried like a boss but failed. If you want to exploit that by going somewhere and be like, hey, let's go there and I will most likely die, that's funny. Well, it's not. Just play like you would normally do, of course, except when you do what the community voted for, and will be just as great as Dark Souls video. That's it. Can't wait for more. Here's the thing though. If I say I'm going to go here and probably die, is because I kind of know what's there. And I know that there's a big possibility of me dying. But even if I wasn't commentating on it, I would still go there and do it. I just know that I might die. But the thing is, I'm not doing it on purpose to die. When I go there, I try my damnedest hard not to die. And a lot of the times I succeed, sometimes I fail. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not changing the way I play. It's just when I commentate, I know that something bad can happen. And I try to kind of give it to you guys like, okay, well, I'm going to try this and I'm probably going to die, but at least it's entertaining. You know, sometimes I say that, but it's not like I'm trying to die on purpose, because I'm always going to try to do my best not to die. If I just happen to die, I'm going to die trying as hard as I possibly can. So I'm just kind of explaining that fact. It's not like just because I'm saying I'm going to go here and probably die, it doesn't mean that I'm going to do it on purpose. It just means that I'm going to try really hard, but I don't feel very confident about it. Okay, I just want you to understand that it's like I'm not trying to die on purpose just to get you guys entertained, because that would not be funny. What's funny is when I'm die, despite the fact that I'm trying really hard. So I'm always going to go try hard. Just sometimes I might not succeed. And if in the commentary I'm saying I'm going to go here and probably die, it doesn't mean that I'm going to go there and die on purpose. It just means that I'm going to go there. I might die, but I'm going to try real hard not to die. So thank you very much for your comment, Darmas, and for giving me an opportunity to explain that too. Next up, we have a comment by Jelly, and Jelly has this to say. Hey, Rurikhan, just want to know if there's more games like Malicious. I normally never play or watch games like this, but I'm really enjoying watching you play this game. Keep up the good work. Bro fist! So, I don't understand the question. More games like Malicious? You mean more DLC games? Yeah, there's plenty of DLC games. More DLC games about boss fights? Maybe I'm not that familiar with that much of them. I just got Malicious because a friend of mine showed it to me and I thought it was really, really good. So I don't exactly know how to answer that question. But thanks for your comment anyways. Next up, we have a comment by Steampunk Ruin. Ruri, the elite set is not the one by the Hydra. You have to go through the 20,000 door to get it. No, you don't. You're wrong. I just read this comment just so that I could correct you. The Elite Knight set is actually before the Moonlight Butterfly. In that area where you have all of those stone golems, that is where the Elite Knight set is, not after the Crest of Artorias door. Just thought I'd let you know that. Thank you very much for your comment, Steampunk Ruin. Next up, we have a comment by Jadar. He says, Ruri, you should forget about the Elite Knight set. Instead, you should aim for the Stone Knight armor set, which is outside the ruins where you meet the cat that puts you into the Hunter Covenant. That set is one with the most poise after Havels, and you will need a lot of poise if you're going to be a dwarf tank. Thing is, I don't think I have enough, for starters, I didn't have enough souls to open up that door, and I don't have enough endurance to take that set and keep on rolling, so to speak. So that's why for now it's going to be the Elite Knight. Yeah. Thank you very much for your comment, Jadar. Next up, we have a comment by Kelly, and she says, Kelly, the person who bought me Skyrim, thanks a lot, Kelly. Never gonna forget about it. And she says, not being rude or anything, but that red armor looks like Santa's PJs. Looks like Santa was about to go to bed and snuggle up with his reindeers. You don't want to know. And then he noticed that there were a load of undead and demons around, so he thought he'd try and help out by beating them up with a weapon set that was intended to be a present to some medieval enactment fan. I just thought this comment was really, really cool. Yeah, it does look like Santa's PJs, but that armor is really, really good for a startup Dark Souls Let's Play, so that's the reason I wanted to get it. Thank you very much for your comment, Kelly. Next up, we have a comment by El Phoenix, and El Phoenix says, that weird moment when you feel disappointed for the video being a Dark Souls video and not a Demon Souls video. Well, I suggest you have a look at the show that I made before this one, the Khan's Gamecast. Which if everything goes right, should go up before the Khan's Gamecast Q&A. So just go check out the Khan's Gamecast, and I should have a couple of news to you about that. Thank you very much for your comment, El Phoenix. Next up, we have a comment by Sean Igor. Sean Igor, I don't know exactly how to spell your name. Sorry, dude. He says, hey, Rurikhan, really like how you're trying to make a dwarf character. I can't wait to see how yours is going to turn out. You got me interested in making a dwarf-looking character too. Here's what mine looks like. And he sent me a picture. Picture quality isn't the best since it's a pic from my camera phone, but hey, looks like a fairly decent dwarf, right? Well, just for starters, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to put that in the edit. If I do, there will be an image. If it's not, I can pretty much describe his character to you. He's a fat character, just like I made mine a fat character, and he has the giant set, and he has the royal helmet that I had at the end of episode 29 after the credits. I did that dwarven thing. His dwarf looks pretty much like that one that I made, except for the fact that he doesn't have a shield, and he has the giant hammer from the giant blacksmith Nanorlanda. Now, I do have some criticism about that, which is my objective is to make my dwarven character playable, and I don't think that hammer scales that good. So, like, if you go into New Game Plus or whatever, that hammer is probably going to suck, and you're going to need a shield too, because you can't play a dwarven tank without a shield. So, I have to say, yeah, it looks like a dwarf because of the giant set plus the headgear, but the hammer is not viable, so you're cheating. Thank you very much for your comment, Sean Igor. Next up, we have another comment by He-Man, and he says, yeah, that was awesome. Breakfast while watching 40 minutes of Kingdoms of Amalur video and 2 deaths. Perfect. I love the comment you made about the kobold having a stupid toothpick weapon. Then he swiped it at your face and you're like, what? Can't wait for more, bro. Bro fist. Yeah, that was funny because I made the comment on how, oh, you can't mess with this little toothpick weapon. And the guy just swipes the weapon at me, kills me. And I'm like, what? I thought that was a pretty funny thing too. So thanks for your comment, Eman6. And that was the last comment in this Khan's Gamecast Q&A. So, hope you guys enjoyed the show. My voice is pretty much gone at this point. My throat is killing me, so I'm probably going to go make some tea or something, and then I'm going to get ready to record Khan's Gamecast, which will probably show up before this one because I'm awesome like that. It's the magic of Portuguese internet. No, not really. It's the magic of the fact that I'm going to upload one before the other. That's why. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I will see you guys in the next one.